Hey everyone. Now, one of the things I have definitely noticed since this whole recent situation has kicked off is the rising diaspora beef that has crept back into the mix. And I say crept back because this isn't the first time this has happened, and it damn sure won't be the last time. Now, let me be very clear when I say beef, because it is very one-sided. It's black Americans who are pouring scorn on everybody else as if they are somehow the barometer of morality and blackness, and anything associated with racism, they're the only ones who went through slavery or oppression, and therefore they're the only ones who can speak on it, even though that's complete BS if they even understood history. Because in truth, this beef only goes one way. Forget what they try and make it out. That's just pure, they trying to gaslight you. Don't believe that BS. And whenever someone from another group claps back ever so gently, they act as if, oh my God, here we go again. This is what I'm talking about. They act like they're the victims of this whole situation, despite all the assaults that they did before that everyone has to just listen to and take back and agree with them. But that all slips from their mind as soon as you gently, ever so gently clap back. But the reason why I'm so indifferent to all this is because of a few reasons. Now, number one, I know I'm not silly. Most of this exists only online in a niche sector that includes, let's be honest, unaccomplished, grown-ass children who have no power in their life, real life, outside of this whole social media game. That's why I'm not the only person who said this. A lot of people have said this. Social media has created a second life for a lot of people, because outside of it, what are they? Again, that's where their only power resides at. So this is why I know a lot of this only exists online. But I will say this to people, whether it's online or not online, in real life, gravitate to people who treat you with respect. Now, that's not to say there won't be disagreements, because guess what? We're all human. We have disagreements. We have different views. But the moment that becomes disrespect and you get called out of your name and likewise your people, then my advice is, if it means anything, don't associate with those type of people and never associate them with them ever again. Now, that's the first reason. Second reason why I'm indifferent is because I know not to generalize a whole group of people based on the actions of a small minority. Funny that, because I find it interesting how the same group of people who cry foul whenever they get stereotyped due to the actions of a few do the exact same thing. And I'm like, if they even bother to just look ever so briefly, because you don't have to look hard for this, they would have noticed same people from the same group who thinks entirely different way. Almost as if, shock horror, we're not a monolith. But that's too deep for the content. That's too deep in this day and age because of everything has to be so polarizing. Everything has to be so extreme. Everything has to be pretty much absolute. Anything in the gray area, we don't like it. That's just how it is nowadays. Now, if you have issues with certain individuals and what they do and what they've said and how things look, fine. That's not a problem at all. We all have that those individuals can be called out. But to stereotype a whole group based on that sort of stuff tells me one thing. You are the exact same as that white slave master that you claim to have done all these horrible things based on what? The color of your skin. The same as those white people who you say oppress you based on what? The actions of a small minority. You're the exact same. You are no different. And finally, number 3, it shows your lack of power and it shows your insecurities with whom you decide to pick a fight with. Because when you analyze this whole situation, it's just one powerless group arguing with another powerless group. To what end exactly? I mean, none of these groups hold any power in society to hold anyone back. Most of them are barely surviving day to day, despite some of their boasts. I've seen the numbers. Stats don't lie. So outside of some silly back and forth about some trivial things, it amounts to absolutely nothing. And it's usually a front just to impress and get in the good graces of their favorite people in the entire world. And that's the most telling thing. And the point I have to finish on, because all of this has started in truth thanks to whom? This woman on the screen. Now let that sink in.